Hello viewers, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all? Wherever you are in the world, when you're watching this, I hope that you're well. And I hope that you're enjoying your weekend because we've all had a lot on our mind. And at some point, we've actually got to just pull back from all that worry and refocus on joy. So I think that is a very important word for today. Joy. It is Sunday here in Australia, Sunday morning, and we've had some very cold weather. We've had almost what feels like snow, and we've got some beautiful sunshine streaming through the windows. So after this reading, I'm going to go out and enjoy my afternoon, perhaps go for a walk, and spend a little bit of time outdoors. All right, so I want to look at the full moon in Scorpio. It is the third and the last supermoon of the year, and it falls in the sign of Scorpio. We then move into that full moon phase before the new moon in Gemini on the 22nd. Of May. Now, these readings are for all signs. They're general readings. Full moons generally affect us all, some signs more than others. They can be very, very intense times. And so we could be feeling, regardless of whatever sign you are, we could be feeling a little bit, the ebb and the flow of our emotions. We could be feeling more intense around full moon periods. The 7th of May, which I think is Thursday, for the full moon in Scorpio. Added to that intensity is the intensity of the sign of Scorpio. So it's almost like a double whammy for us. Scorpios, they don't let go of things. They really follow the thought down, or the thoughts down, until they come to some kind of conclusion. Scorpio is the sign of transformation. It is the sign of endings and beginnings. And so this full moon for most of us could mean a period of introspection. It could be where we're starting to move through some kind of ending, or the ending is in sight, and we're honoring that ending, and we're looking to what the new beginning might be. But first of all, we've got to finish. We've got to finish something. And so for many of us, it will be a time of introspection and reflection as we look at the last pieces of the puzzle falling into place. So whatever situation this is regarding in your life that is something that has been very challenging for you, this could be a personal situation, could be something affecting your work, your partnerships, your home life, could be the global situation that we're all in at the moment, where, whatever that situation is, take something that really has been impacting on you, that is concluding in your life, that is an inevitable ending, and really take the time around the full moon period to go deeper into that reflection, so that you can process and bring forward that ending. So this is an opportunistic time for us as we start to pull those pieces of the puzzle together, again, to move through that ending. Now, on a global stage, if we put our focus on the collective for a little bit, we've got a lot of countries moving into reopening up. This could be a time where we're a little bit concerned about that. Is that the right thing to do? Well, we have a second wave. So for the collective level, there could be that movement toward examining whether it is time to open things up again. It could be that we're all, in that same boat where we're looking at, how we've lived our lives in the past and whether or not that has been in our best interests. Has it been, are we bringing forward the best in us? Are we maximizing our chance for happiness or joy, or are we walking around putting our focus on things that in hindsight really didn't matter? For some, in countries where leaders going to the US in particular, we've got some fairly significant things at play there in relation to the leadership of the US, and so bringing that to an ending. So there is a justice or a karmic nature to things. So I want to drill down on this full moon, and recognizing that sometimes endings are painful, but in new beginnings we actually learn how to move on from something. So a time to detox in a practical sense, a time to cleanse, time to clear out, a time to sweep up the leaves, to clear the space. I'm feeling. All right, so let's look at how the new moon will impact on us, and what are the beginnings here? What are the endings and what are the beginnings? Okay, so where we need to put our focus. So let's have a look at how this new moon in Scorpio, the intensity, we're going to feel it, and look, it's going to be again having to confront those sometimes painful truths in order to make sense of the situation. So, but I'm reminded that that is the way that we move toward greater clarity. Okay, so show me, how will the full moon in Scorpio impact on the collective, at the individual, at the collective level. Sometimes there can be parallels there. What affects one affects the other. It is linked. So how does this full moon in Scorpio, how will it impact on us? Full moon in Scorpio, how will it impact on us? Yeah, okay. So there will be a coming together as well, because I'm seeing a lot of round table discussions, some sort of coming together to fix things. All right, so we've got the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, review, planning. We're going to be really thinking about what in our life needs to change. And again, I got a big pull to, did we need to do that? Did we need to spend that? Did we really need that? I think for some, this review is going to be around the life quality, the quality that of their lifestyles. In the past, it's like they're kind of seeing for the first time what needs to change. So there's a big emphasis on review and reflection. The Nine of Cups, for some of us, we could be wishing for miracles, and this could be around finances as well. And we're kind of waking up that there is no miraculous solution here. There is a reality that we have to confront. We may have been putting it off for some time, but we can't escape this review that's needed. The Seven of Cups, yeah, about making choices. There is an illusionary quality around this card. It's got a Piscean energy as well. Sort of this confusion, or a bit of the fog. We're kind of looking at reviewing, how did we get here? How did we get here? All right, the Five of Pentacles, loss. There is a significant reflection around what we may have lost. How did we lose this? How did we not see this? And our focus could also be on those that are suffering at this time with this Five of Pentacles. Let's keep going. The Two of Cups, yeah. This is unity. We could be reflecting on the state of our relationships, the state of globally, what unifies us, what has not unified us. And I'm getting a real strong pull to this Seven of Cups. In order to examine the truth, in order to move toward greater clarity, we actually have to be able to pierce through the fog to see the truth. And I feel that this month in May, around the time of the full moon, any divisions that are between us, this is at the individual level, can be also for the collective as well. We're examining our relationships. We're examining how far we've strayed from where we put our focus. Unity and disunity. And here's our clarity. We know, I guess, around this full moon, when I talked about pieces of the puzzle needing to come into place here, we know what is needed. We know that there has been something wrong with the truth. Now, what is truth? What is truth for someone is not truth for another. And we've got this division, and we've also got this illusionary nature because we don't have that unity. We can't come together and accept the same truth here. And so there's a wish and a hope that we will. But you know what? The Nine of Cups is all about miracles happening. So I feel that in May, something could arise that shows a truth that we can all accept. Yeah, the Star of Hope. It's in our hearts. It's in our intentions. It's in our wishes. It's in our the kinds of thoughts that we're having for the future. We want better. We want to make the choices, be able to make the clear choices. And so all the reflection that we do around the full moon time will be to this end, to end the illusion, to restore the truth, to come together. It's sort of like a coming together to accept the one, to accept a common truth. Let's keep going. Yeah, the Nine of Pentacles underneath the Five of Pentacles. What's forcing us is the downturn. The downturn in the economies that is affecting us all. It's a reality check. So the reality check is piercing through the Seven of Cups. Not being able to necessarily make the right choice. The reality check is piercing through that to get to the truth. Okay. And that will have a flow-on effect, I feel. That reality check will extend to everything. And this is something that political leaders don't necessarily get. They don't necessarily get the undertone. They don't necessarily get what happens when we all start to manifest as a collective, where our will all starts to sort of get into sync with each other. Political leaders don't understand that hidden will. But I feel that the lack of unity, the deep, dark, I've been getting a big draw to the dark web, the sowing of the seeds of disunity, of confusion, of illusion. Enough of us are starting to pierce through that. So for me, the full moon is all about starting to wake up. But first we need to have those pieces of the puzzle drop for us. The reality check has cost us with this Nine of Wands. We're all a little bit tired because we've had that downturn, because we've had to confront hardship in a way. We're no longer going to give someone the benefit of the doubt, or we're getting very impatient. We're getting impatient because we have to. So we're starting to, this will toward change, it's starting to move through. The Two of Pentacles, again, juggling and manipulation underneath the Ace of Swords. I don't think we've got much patience this month for anyone who is not being totally authentic or truthful with us. We're going to be quite hard. The Page of Pentacles, this is all around our choices, and also the downturn in our spending capacity as well. we have put so much focus, and this is something we will be thinking about in May as well, or some of us. We've put so much focus on the dollar that when it I guess shrinks, we actually have to look for other things. So in a way, we're going to be coming back to ourselves. Let's have a look. We're coming back into some kind of balance. So, but first we're going to have to really come to terms with where we've put our value in the past, that we are no longer able to control. It's out of our control. We are actualizing something new into reality, and it's going, it is at a speed that is probably going to surprise us in a way. So the opportunity of the supermoon in Scorpio on May the 7th is doing some more of this reflection around what we're going to accept and what we're not going to accept. And it is also around what is that truth that can unify us. So let's have a look at the full moon. We'll be in that full moon phase for a couple of weeks. We've got a lot happening for us at the moment. We've got how CV is impacting across the world. For some, this has been a pretty hard going. We want things to start up again, but we're worried that if it does, there will be a second wave. Let's have a look at, with this introspection and reflection, what is likely to come forward in May that is going to be instrumental to creating our future. So when we bring something, when we honour those endings, we're bringing something to a close. What can we expect from our introspection in terms of the future? What is this ending? What is this ending that we're bringing forward? What is this ending that we're bringing forward? And importantly, what is this new that we are beginning? What is this ending that we're having to move through? And what is the new beginning? The Empress, yeah, abundance. Okay, so, and also coming back to the earth. And if you've been looking at my readings lately, this is such a strong theme, that the earth is quietened, we've quietened, our activity is quietened. This is also our abundance, not taking our abundance for granted, but this is also abuses of power as well. Abuses of power that have cost us dearly. I guess what could be coming fairly clear is some sort of abuse of power at the high level, at the government level, perhaps in May. The Queen of Pentacles, which has actually impacted on our security, our financial security as well. And there is the ending with this Judgment card. So something could come through, getting toward this one truth, having to have a common agreement on something, or enough of us. There could be something emerge around our leaders in the month of May that gives us cause to think, that could bring together or hasten or bring together the puzzles starting to fit with this Judgment card is karmic. The Queen of Wands. There's a lot of, I think collectively around the world, there's a lot of dissension. There's a lot of dark web activity. There's a lot of almost being on the tipping point, if not being tipped over, the tipping point of violence and chaos. So we are seeing that in May. I feel we're going to be able to see that more clearly. Again, how do we honour endings? How do we bring endings to a close? We have to see the full picture, and we have to have no doubts before this new ending begins. The Seven of Wands. Standing our ground against abuse of power. Defending ourselves against abuses of power. Again, our patience is just not there because of this reality check We have no patience for lies and deceit. Now, that Ace of Swords was there in how the full moon might be impacting on us. It's sitting underneath the Queen of Pentacles. So, individually and collectively, we will be standing our ground. Nobody can push us. Nobody can move us. We're going to be more likely to be standing our ground and taking action with this Queen of Swords than we may have done previously. Judgment, the Hanged Man, suspension. As I said, for some countries, they are starting to open things up again. The Hanged Man. Let's see how that's going to work out. We've got justice here, karma, and a balancing of scales. So again, for some leaders that where there are big judgments coming up, I'm going to the US, justice is going to be extremely important in the month of May. The Chariot, I feel things moving very, very quickly in May in some regard. It's almost, as I said, we can't really see the speed at which things are unfolding. The Hermit, introspection and reflection as a result of the super full moon, bringing something to an end, a kind of karmic justice here, and the Seven of Cups, illusions and delusions, making choices underneath the Judgment card and the Hangman card. While we've been in lockdown, while we've been getting these reality checks, we're actually starting to see things a lot more clearly because we do have the Wheel of Fortune, the karmic card. We do have retreat, wounded in battle, what this pandemic has done. But we also have the new that we're manifesting. I asked about new beginnings, and I do feel this is around taking control ourselves. The Hierophant is all about government. It's all about, can be a higher source. Well, guess what? We're taking some of that control back ourselves. So what are we manifesting in this new moon? We're manifesting the ending of giving our power away, the ending of confusion, the ending of feeling like we've been in a fog. We don't know whose truth is true. Is your truth right? Is my truth right? I guess we have to have faith and we have to have hope that more stability will come forward, that the ending of this confusion, this, I'm getting a really strong pull to the internet, how it might have impacted on our lives. Will we see, I feel there needs to be, greater, or we may be thinking there needs to be greater regulation of the mass media, the way that we communicate, the way that there is this abuse of mass media by those that would seek to, I think, subvert and create that illusion. So is that what we're waking up to? Are we going to be less gullible when we see these this dark web, these conspiracy theories which seem to be popping up, like grass fires, that you put one out and another one springs up? Are we generally, I'm asking this question for my own interest, are we generally becoming more wise? Are we wising up around the amount of conspiracy theories, division? Because I'm getting a big pull to the internet. Are we actually wising up there? Are we able to see things very clearly for what they are? Is this all a part of the ending that we are starting to bring forward so that we have a new beginning? Are things becoming more obvious to us where we're being duped, deluded, where that veil of illusion is being pulled? Are things becoming more obvious to the majority of us, to enough of us? Which again is this will that moves through. The Eight of Swords, the worry, the restrict. What are we allowing to restrict us? Whose truth are we bringing, are we allowing to impact and put us in that prison? Because this is prison. The Five of Cups, the loss, the grief. These aren't nice cards. I talked about the internet. Doing things very, very tough, carrying that hard load. In some way, we're waking up, and in time, if not now, in time, we're bringing forward. This is a crossroads. This is we're putting in together a plan that will mature in the future. This is a clearing of dark skies as well. So we have been through the last 3 years of absolute and utter dark information that is being put out there by a number of agendas, a number of people with, it's a manipulation. And it's caused us a great deal of hardship, and it's caused us a great deal of worry and a great deal of grief. But there is a crossroads here that we are walking into. Here we go, the Page of Wands, the hearing, the headlines, the communication is restricting us, putting us into prisons. And it is of our own making, because we can turn that internet off, but we won't. We won't, because that is the way that we communicate. But we've got something unfolding. We've got a general will, a push, a wish that we want. We want to move away from allowing this darkness to overtake us, because quite frankly, we're weary of it. Okay, so again, coming back to this reality check, the Ace of Pentacles, new starts, but also seeing through those agendas. When we hear of drug companies with connections and in communications with the White House that stand to make money on what we're all going through at the moment, we can see pretty clearly what's at play here. So in some way, whether it's that or whether it's those that are worried about vaccines being made, being put into law, or big government using this time to subvert in some way, take control in some way, whether it's that or whether it's the latest dark conspiracy theory that can be easily pulled apart by facts. This is where we're heading, because things have been so chaotic and because they have been so confusing and so dark in places. We've had our reality check, and enough of us are starting to wake up. Let's keep going. Justice is going to be done at some point in May. I do feel in some way we're going to see some kind of ending here. Let's keep going. The Ten of Cups, that is family, love, unconditional love. The King of Swords, becoming more objective. The King and the Queen of Swords seem to be popping up along with the Ace of Swords in my reading. The endings that we're bringing forward, we're bringing the new beginning. What is the new beginning that we're manifesting at the moment in terms of the supermoon? This is a logical, objective truth approach that we're bringing forward. Someone tells us that pigs will fly. We're going to say, yeah, off you go. We're just not going to put up, I think, with the illusion, that Seven of Cups, being in that. We just don't want to be in that space anymore. And this is the Page of Swords. A lot of swords coming now into the reading. And really, as I said, the reality check. We could hear something around big government. We could hear something around profiteering. We could hear something around going to the US and the Supreme Court rulings that are coming through in May. I'll do a separate reading on those. But May is going to be a fairly instrumental month. At the base of the pack, I do have the Lovers card, Unity. I do have the Empress card, abundance. We're seeing what took away from our abundance. We want to work with others, not work against them. And we've got this hope that is coming through, this intention that our leaders, our political leaders, can't really manipulate. It's there. It runs like a river through an underground river that they can't see, they can't access, and it's moving us in a different way. As a result of hardship and loss with this Three of Swords, we are now moving into the Knight of Wands energy. The Knight of Wands energy. So at the moment, we've got to wait a little while, but we are manifesting, moving through that ending and starting at the beginning, in some ways the beginning again. Only this time we're a little bit wiser than what we were before in the past. Okay, thank you for tuning in to my full moon in Scorpio reading.